welcome to Talking with T, a podcast with all the streamer friends, season 2. Yes, we have been gone now for quite some time, but I thought I would bring along a guest that would be an absolute asset to this comeback, and it is none other than immersi0ns. Hello.
Yo, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you, Imi?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
I'm glad to hear that you are doing well. For those of you people that are viewing right now that do not know immersi0ns, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, for those who don't know, I'm immersi0ns, also known as Imi, a small variety streamer from Melbourne. Just play games, kick back, have a good time, listen to music, and yeah, nothing too crazy.
We love just to vibe out to music that we all love, that keeps the energy up, and then just stream the game that you love as well. That's the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you definitely got to enjoy doing what you're doing. Imi, your progress on streaming has been absolutely amazing, to say the least. When I first came across you, Imi, I believe you were peaking at 8 to 10 views, and that was in October, I believe, when I came across you and when I followed you.
Yeah,
And
sounds about right.
yeah, and then you peaked at like 15, then 20. How do you feel about that? Like, just the progress that you made.
Progress? I mean, I try not to focus too much on viewer numbers.
Yeah.
Primarily, just for me at this stage, it's a bit of fun. You know, if I could go full time, that'd be fantastic. But that's sort of long term goal. I got a lot of other factors in life that sort of take up my time too, so I can't really like fully focus all my energy on this. You know, got to have like backup plans for things and stuff. But watching the numbers grow, like in particular the followers and stuff, over that period of October, November, in particular December and January, was just absolutely incredible. Like it blew any sort of goal I had way out of the water.
I wouldn't blame you for kind of thinking like that, like within the span of like 2 to 3 months. That's absolutely amazing, and I'm glad that you kind of had that kind of reception around you. Full time, that's the dream, right? Any streamer's dream to go full time. If you do have the potential to go full time, do you think that Twitch will be stable enough for you to go full time?
Well, if I went full time content, I wouldn't just be streaming. I think to be able to make a living just off full time streaming is very difficult. You have to have some sort of basis on other platforms. In particular at the moment, it's Twitch and TikTok, YouTube and TikTok. Sorry, they're the two big sort of video platforms as opposed to live streams. Tom said it the other week when he was doing like a tier list. If Twitch disappeared like overnight, just like that, then so many people would just have like nothing. It's really important to sort of spread yourself out across numerous platforms.
Yeah.
And that's what, if I was doing full time, that'd be sort of what I'd be looking at doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're talking about discoverability here, so, you know, I feel like it's kind of like a grey area to talk about with discoverability, especially on Twitch. I have heard all these things like TikTok has been like the number one thing for streamers to try and get some discoverability. I mean, is that something that you are willing to go down that path to maybe help a little bit?
Look, with understanding sort of the algorithms of the different platforms, there's a lot that goes into a lot of trial and error to sort of focus on your particular niche. It's something I'm still learning about. It's something I will need to learn more about. I am definitely looking at, especially in the near future, like I'm currently experimenting with Adobe Premiere Pro to make my first YouTube video, or just some TikTok clips or something from a stream VOD. But it's a lot of work. It really is sort of teaching yourself and then trying to make something that, you know, is up to like a standard that I'm comfortable with putting on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it, trial and error. You know, there's no right or wrong way on how to do Twitch 101. So you're absolutely right. You need to find your niche and what kind of suits you. How long have you been experimenting with Adobe Premiere Pro?
I mean, I bought the package probably about a month ago, and then I did all their little tutorials and stuff, and then sort of got caught up with like a mountain of like my actual work. I was working like 5 or 6 days a week, been experimenting, playing around with it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that you're experimenting with editing because it will help with kind of getting yourself out there on YouTube or TikTok per se. Premiere Pro, that is a really good program to use with kind of like funny edits. Very, very important to kind of up your editing skills. You mentioned your work. So what do you do for work, Amy?
At the moment, I'm just a casual at a supermarket. Nothing too crazy. I mean, I have a lot of. I mean, I've worked there for 5 years. I know a lot about the place. I know a lot about how it runs. I could be a manager if I wanted to, but I turned down the role because I like the morning shifts as opposed to doing the night closes that they give to the young managers. And I don't plan on being there for that much longer. So I figured, what's the point in doing all that manager training and then after 6 months being like, yeah, no, I'm out.
Yeah,
So then I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to waste my time. So yeah,
absolutely.
I'm just comfortable. They'll let me do my own thing. I know what needs to be done with each day, with the load that comes in the different departments, and they just sort of let me go and handle it as it comes up.
Yeah, of course. Speaking of different departments, what was the progression you had with working in the different kind of departments as you first started to now?
Well, I started back as a 15-year-old when I was first allowed to get a job. Started in the grocery department. I contemplated trying other stuff. From everything I'd heard from other staff members, just grocery was the best fit for me. Lots of a good balance between sort of the quiet days where you could sort of muck around a bit with the boys, and then the busy days where it's a lot of just like go go go, heavy lifting, shifting stuff around. And then I just sort of just kept on going. I've dropped it for periods of time and gone and done other stuff. There was a period of time where I was working full time in the events industry for about 9 months, and then just to stay like within the supermarket's rostering system, I had to do like a shift every 3 months. So I just did that, just as again sort of like a backup plan to have in case something went wrong, which it did with COVID. And yeah, just found my way back there, and they've looked after me really well.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm glad that they're looking after you. That's very important. So, you're not the night feel kind of guy?
No, so the way the supermarket I work at sort of operates, it's we don't do like night fill stuff. Our deliveries will rock up in the morning, then just sort of throughout the day, I'll chip away at it. If other stuff comes in, then I'll send it off to where it needs to go. If it's for like the bakery or the deli or fresh produce, whatever, I'll just chip away at it, split it up, and then in the afternoon, they get sort of the younger boys, the school kids, to come through after school, and then it's all sort of loaded up on trolleys, ready for them to just smash out over the next few hours. And
Yeah.
that's basically just what I do.
Yeah, too easy. Yeah, the school kids, right? They always get groceries.
Yeah.
I actually did work experience for 5 days at a supermarket. I kind of got a little bit of a taste as to what it was like being in, the supermarket industry. Obviously, that you work, 5 to 6 days a week, correct?
Over sort of the peak period of summer, yeah, the supermarket I work at it's in like a pretty, oh, it's not really regional. It's just a very seasonal population. So over summer, the population size basically triples. It gets pretty hectic. So then that's when I'll do sort of pretty much all of January, late December, January. I'll do 5 6 days a week, but then throughout winter it's sort of more 2 to 3, just to help on the big delivery days.
And obviously, working that long and working, big hours,
Yeah,
it takes a toll on you, right?
absolutely.
we know you in the OCE community that you love your energy drinks and coffee.
Yes.
Yes.
A bit of a fiend for caffeine.
Correct. Some might say you're an absolute like caffeine person.
Yeah. I've got, case in point, I've got a 4-pack of Red Bulls right here that I bought on the way home.
I'm not a big fan of Red Bull.
I mean, within reason. I mean, I'd rather have, if over winter I'll have like a nice hot coffee in the morning for my dose of caffeine. But peak summer, when you wake up in the morning, it's already 20, 25 degrees. I'll have either an iced coffee or like a cold Red Bull.
Yeah.
And that's just sort of my like kickstart to that. Because I'm a night person, right? So I'm waking up 5 a.m. to get ready for work, and then like work a long day. Like I'll need just something to sort of kickstart, get me going.
Absolutely. If it gives you a kickstart throughout the day, then one energy drink or one cup of coffee in the morning wouldn't hurt, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You are also a uni student, correct?
Yes, I am. I start up again next week.
When did you start uni?
So my uni journey is a little bit scuffed, as with everything I do. I graduated high school 2017.
Yeah.
Ended up going to uni the following year. Did like a full year there, doing a Bachelor of Commerce. Hated every second of it. Was not for me at all. Because I just sort of went to uni because that was the expectation. Was finish high school, go to uni. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had an idea. Like I've always been, especially in the last few years, leaning towards event management sort of stuff. So I did a Bachelor of Commerce majoring in events, and I hated it. So I finished off the year, like got all my passes or whatever, and bailed out. I was like, did the whole process with the university, like, yep, I'm not coming back. Got that all sorted, signed off, and I worked. Started over that summer. By the end of February, I had 3 jobs, and I was working 40 plus hours a week between the 3 of them. There was days where I was pulling double shifts, and yeah, it was. I mean, I was just working, making money, spending it too. Paid off a few debts and whatnot, and just more so gaining life experience before reattempting university. And then halfway through that year, so this would have been 2019, was when I started working the events job full time. But worked with them from, I think it was July 2019 till March last year, when they laid me off because we had no work because of the coronavirus. In itself was very sort of eye-opening for me, as the different avenues within events I could take sort of solidified, like, yep, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Towards the early last year, I started doing some research into university courses again, just to sort of further my education for this events job, because the plan was to sort of move up through the ranks within that company to eventually sort of be running events for them, as opposed to just being sort of a labourer supervisor. That's when I, re-enrolled into university, then found out, COVID was happening, things were getting locked down, I wouldn't have a job anymore. And so it was pretty perfect timing, honestly. And then like 2 weeks later, I started up university. Been really enjoying it so far.
Yeah.
Doing instead of commerce, doing a Bachelor of Business, which is more so management focused as opposed to numbers and commerce.
Yeah.
And it's a much better fit.
Nice.
For me.
So you're doing a Bachelor of Business so you can do your event management.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, look, everybody has kind of like a scuffed journey when it comes to university. I've almost finished my first year. I've got like a term to go. It's pretty scuffed. Like I want to be a physiotherapist, and
yeah,
I couldn't do that straight away. I am currently doing a diploma in health science, and it was scuffed. I had no choice but to do mid-year intake. Everybody kind of has scuffed kind of things when it comes to university, so I absolutely can empathise with you.
That's the thing. Like, I ended up starting halfway through the semester, just because of the way my university operates with their class structures, rather than having sort of the typical 4 different classes over the length of the entire semester. like all running alongside each other. It's one class at a time for 4 weeks. So you just get to focus on like one in particular thing, and just it's still like the full semester's worth of work, but just sort of condensed down to one topic at a time.
Yeah.
So I was able to sort of halfway through the semester just sort of jump in and get started, which means I have to catch up on a couple of units to still finish at the end of 2022, but I'm going to smash those out this year.
And I hope you smash it out. Well, with where I am, I swear it must be different in Melbourne. Education, very, very different. How you're telling me how you did university, how your timetable kind of panned out, it is different. I would have a tutorial at least like every day of the week. As the course kind of progressed, now I've only done like one tutorial a day for 2 days kind of thing. Now I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, but you've also got to remember, because there's different requirements for different degrees. So a business degree is pretty clear cut in regards to what you need, whereas something like a psychology or psychiatry degree, you need a lot more theory, more lectures, and then so you'd have like a biochemistry degree, whatever, to have your sort of your theory lessons as well as your practicals. It's different degrees have different levels of requirements to sort of cover the knowledge base. So that's why they're able to do my business degree in this particular way. And it's, for me personally, it's a really good fit, this style of study. Because if I get sort of too overwhelmed with like too many different things going on, I just sort of burn out and, and throw in the towel. It's good.
Yeah, it's good that uni you can kind of pick and choose, your workload. I dropped a unit, I didn't like it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
bye. I dropped it. You're definitely right. It does vary within different courses and different states.
And overall, I mean, you got a lot of high-ranking universities within Melbourne, so I guess it's technically true.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe Melbourne University and Monash, they're the two.
Yeah, they're the two sort of very high reputation, difficult to get into unis that all the super smart kids strive for.
Absolutely. Like, I'm not sure if this is true. I don't really have much kind of an idea with getting into Monash or Melbourne. I saw one time that you need like big scores to get into Monash, like an accreditation. I saw for like a course or something. I would even consider it like for the Americans that are here. I think I would consider it an Ivy League kind of college, like Harvard.
Melbourne, absolutely. Monash, not quite, but not far off.
Really?
Yeah, Monash still has some things that are easier to get into, but Melbourne Uni is definitely sort of that top tier elite university. There's people who are within the top 5% of like VCE scores who don't get let in because they go for like the real top.
Yeah, 100%. And it's a shame. It as people say, your ATAR doesn't define you. It is just a number.
Well, that's it. It's a rank for your year 12 peer group across the country, how well you scored in your exams. But then there's students who are much better in a practical sense than they are in a academic sense, and there's kids who are book smart, and there's kids who are still smart but with other things. There's naturally gifted tradies and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then on top of that, there's just pathways upon pathways to get into different uni courses to get the career you want.
Yeah,
just because you don't reach that target ATAR doesn't mean that's it. You got to work in that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there is pathways. Not many people know that, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get into uni. Where there's a will, there's a way. You can become a mature age student. Other things there that you can kind of explore. We're gonna dive in a little bit more with your streaming. So you did say that you're a variety streamer. So what games do you like to play on stream?
like growing up, I was a sort of a racing game and FPS gamer back on the PS3 and PlayStation 1 actually is where
Yeah.
I started. And then sort of nowadays I jump between Minecraft. Recently I've been playing BioShock and Borderlands. Sometimes I'll play funny little games like Untitled Goose Game.
Mm.
Some people know what that is. And yeah, I just at the end of the day, I don't want to be sort of pressured into playing something. I'd rather just play whatever I feel like doing. You know, if there's something that I really want to play, then I'll jump on stream and play it. You know, the view count doesn't matter.
That's
If I'm having fun, that's what matters to me.
that's absolutely right. Like all the people around me in the OC community, my streamer friends, they always either play Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Warzone or Valorant or I don't know, just first person shooter games.
Yeah,
And that's not for me, you know? I did install Valorant this week, but at the end of the day, they're not for me. And so I've just stuck playing Minecraft every day, but I am trying to kind of expand my variety a little bit. You know, it's good that you're kind of doing things that are different from other people in OC. Very, very smart idea to kind of be a leader.
yeah. That's I don't see myself as a leader. Like, it's not something I go out of my way to do. I would be playing video games at this time, potentially the game that I stream anyway. It came to a point of just why not?
Exactly right.
You know,
100%.
I spent a lot of time before I started streaming as a Twitch model, like in one of my mates' channels, and so like I sort of understood how Twitch worked, and I was more often than not I was playing with him anyway. For me, it was just a bit of a no-brainer as to, you know, once I upgraded my PC to be able to stream and play games at the same time. You know, what have I got to lose?
Yeah.
There's no downside to streaming.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you kind of had that train of thought that, you know, I play video games every day. I enjoy it. You know, why not stream it to everybody and see where it
Yeah,
takes me? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I wish it was easy as that. You know what I mean? Because when you stream, it is not easy as people think.
No, it's there's a lot more to it than just sort of showing the gameplay you're playing. You know, you got the chat interactions. You got to sort of remember to just not sit there silently. You got to talk through what you're doing, and then if you especially if you're using a face cam, there's that pressure of, you know, like you're live streaming your face to the internet while you're doing what you're doing. You know,
Yeah,
there's a lot more to it than just sort of playing a game.
exactly. It's a big mental game.
It is, but I feel like I've reached the point where it's starting to come a little bit more naturally now. Like
That's
even
good.
when I'm not streaming and just playing something, I'll find myself like talking to myself in my head, like what I would be saying if I was streaming. I was like, hang on, no, shut up, enjoy the game. Like, you know, there's no pressure.
Yeah. And that's a good mindset to have, and you know, easier said than done.
Yeah, oh, I
Honestly,
mean, absolutely, it's easier said than done. But you know, there's no reason why anyone who starts up streaming can't, you know, reach that point.
yeah, true. But you know, one can hope. One can hope.
Yeah,
Speaking of, you know, the OC community, we are around each other a lot. Like me and you, we are like we see each other around always. You know, we have the same homies around us. How does it feel to kind of have homies around you that are supporting you and that are, you know, behind you and what you're doing?
it's a really really cool feeling. Even the simple things like, you know, I'll tweet out that I'm going live and someone likes that tweet, like, you know, Charlie or Luke or whatever. I'm like, this is fucking sick. You know, this is someone that I look up to, you know, is like supporting what I'm doing. Or if, you know, like Dingus came through with a raid last night as I was getting towards the end of my stream, and I was like, this is fucking dope. I love Dingus. He's one of my homies. Having support from like good quality people it's genuinely like a really good feeling.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. And, you know, I'm really glad that I kind of met our homies that we have met on Twitch. They have They've been an absolute help, but at the end of the day, people are different, and the level that you are and where I am with becoming myself and yourself known as a streamer is it's different. We both stand differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. Everyone's got their own little communities. Like, there's people that'll come in and watch me that don't watch like Beefy or Dingus or Luke or Charlie, and then there's people that will watch them that don't watch me, and then there's people that'll watch all of us. That's the thing with like, yes, we're all like homies and whatever, and hit each other with raids and whatnot, but it it's quite difficult to be in multiple streams at once, especially when like your homies are streaming at the same time.
Mm.
Because the particular time slot that I normally go for is when like Charlie goes live at the exact same time. Beefy's already been live for a little bit. Dingus goes live around that time, and so like it's I don't really get to see them as much, but it's still talking to them and interacting with them off stream as well. That's been really really sick, and there's a lot of support behind the scenes too.
Well, I'm glad to hear that's kind of panning out well for you, Amy. Like they're really nice people.
They are. I've been lucky enough to meet a number of them. In real life, obviously, we went and hit the beers and hit the casino and had a good time. And it wasn't. I was a bit nervous. It was going to be like an awkward experience, just given
Yeah.
like you've only met these people online. People can be quite different between online and like in real life, but a lot of them were the exact like same people as what I knew them as,
Mm.
and that was really cool. Being able to just like show up and then hang out and get along like we'd known each other for ages.
Yeah,
It's cool.
understandably so. So you liked the meet up experience that you've had
Yeah,
when Beefy went on his little tour?
yeah. So Beefy on tour was a really really good time.
Yeah, yeah. Beefy's an absolute legend. He's a good guy. It's really nice to kind of meet streamers IRL because it kind of helps build the Twitch relations more, and that's a really good
Yeah,
thing.
it's cool, and that's the thing that sort of like increases the level of friendship that you have with those people. Once you get past that stage of just like an online friend, and you've met them face to face and like hung out with them, and spend time with them. Like, I'd say I'm probably better friends with any of them than I was before that experience.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. Really, really good to hear. It helps. I can definitely see, going into the chats that I go into and seeing you there that, you have gotten along with them more. I have kind of seen the shift in interaction with you guys, so that's really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm. What are your future plans with streaming? I know that you have like a lot of goals that you set yourself, whether it might be something that could be potentially there in the long term or in the short term. Talk to me a little bit about that one.
Yeah. So goals, sort of long term. I really want to work on content this year. So focus on polishing my editing skills, well, getting editing skills, and then polishing them, getting my videos and stuff like a good quality, and like growing on TikTok and YouTube, and then bringing those communities sort of over to my Twitch as well.
Yeah,
And
nice.
then sort of growing the three together as one whole brand, as opposed to just growing on say Twitch. And so yeah, it's for me the goal this year is to really like I've got like a follower goal and whatnot that I want to hit for Twitch, but also there's a big focus on actual content as opposed to just sort of going live and fucking around like I have been.
Yeah, very true. That's why streaming is more than just hitting the go live button and putting the game capture on to
Yeah,
capture your game. It's more than that. It is networking. It's creating homies that we've both created. It's mentally, like being able to prepare for the good and the bad, and expanding your discoverability, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more going on than just sort of hitting the live button and going live.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, but I'm glad you kind of have those goals for you. That's very important. And do you feel like those goals are realistic for you and achievable?
Yeah, of course. I don't see why not. That's the reason you set goals, is to sort of push for them and achieve them at some point. Um, and for me, like, goal setting is a big part of working towards success. Is, having something that you're actually actively working towards,
Yeah,
rather than just sort of, doing it and hoping for the best.
yeah, 100%. And, one can hope that, your goals will be achieved in a certain point in time. It's unpredictable as well.
Yeah, of course. You might just blow up overnight one day, and then you gotta, like, reevaluate your goals and strive for the higher targets.
I mean, that's the dream, right? Like,
Yeah,
I've spoken about this before in previous podcasts, but like, you know, there are streamers out there that have been successful and have kind of blown up overnight. You've got Beefy, he blown up within the span of like a month. Like, he had heaps of support coming his way with raids, mm, heaps of people like subbing, resubbing, following. You know, it happened like that. Whilst other people, it took a little bit slower, or they managed to blow up at the same rate as Beefy, but not at the same time. You know what I mean?
yeah. I'd say, like, Beefy, I love the bloke. He's got one of those personalities that sort of just everyone gets along with him, and I think that's, you know partially one of the reasons why he's seen this amount of success in such a, short space of time. And, like, fucking credit to him, he's fantastic to watch. I love the bloke to bits. But his style of personality, the style of thing he does, is, yeah, it's really really entertaining and just sick.
Absolutely, 100%. It seems like personality has to kind of be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is personality. You can't really be a content creator if you've got the personality of a brick wall. You got to have sort of something behind it. You just got to sort of capitalize on what you've got to work with.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, there are people out there that are born. They say born to be a streamer, and it shows. People that can interact well with the chat, people that have the personality that we've kind of spoken about. That's not like a brick wall.
Yeah,
It is made for streaming. I wish it wasn't really like that. I wish that like no matter like how you are as a person, people have got to watch you for you, and if they like you for you and want to watch you for you, then that's absolutely amazing. But if they don't like you for you, then it is what it is. They can move on to somebody else.
yeah, and that's what a lot of people do, is they'll check you out, and then, if they like what you do, then they'll stick around, and that's really cool to see. I've got people who come in from other countries fairly regularly and hang out, and that's, for me, that's a really cool thing to experience, is that interaction with people who, if I didn't stream, I never would have met before.
Yeah, I mean, bringing in regular viewers is absolutely important, because that even if there's not many people in chat, but you do have your regular viewers there all the time, you can rely on them, and they'll constantly talk to you throughout the whole stream and be there throughout the whole stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Having regular viewers is something that is very, very valuable. I would like to say. It's good to have regular viewers.
Regular viewers, they come over time. You know, you won't necessarily get them from your first 50 followers or even your first like 10 or whatever. You know, people will come and drop your follow, and then you might never see him again, and it just happens. You know, it's part of the online culture,
Yeah,
and you know, it's fantastic when you do have regulars, and then you know, or regular lurkers even. I love my lurkers; they're the homies. It's seeing I'll come and say, hey, just checking in, lurking, whatever, and like seeing those regular names pop up. That's when you build that good interaction with people, as opposed to someone who just drops in once and then again 6 months later, like, hey, do you remember me? Like, if I haven't seen you in 6 months, you've only been in once before, then no.
absolutely, 100% agree. It means a lot to us as streamers to kind of, even if you can't tune in for as long as the whole stream or you know, half of the stream, or you're a lurker, putting up a tab is absolutely well valued, you
Yeah, I
know?
mean that's my point of view. Is if you drop in for 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 5 hours, whatever. No, I appreciate you stopping by, and
Yeah.
it's that mindset that I think has helped me a lot. Just in my sort of my own mind with off stream, you know, because I'm like I love my statistics, I love my numbers. Watching, fuck you, Vondi. Um, um, yeah, like watching the numbers and then watching them, like, you know, see what works, what doesn't. Um, that's just part of who I am. But focusing on, you know, like, okay, this many people like actually stopped by and said hello. That's what that's what works for me. Like,
Yeah.
sort of just keeping calm within myself, I guess.
Yeah. That's um that's 100% true. Yeah, putting up a tab, you know, it's not hard to do. So yeah, and it's what keeps you going, you know.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But yeah, I mean, you've got your future plans there. You've got a kind of good mindset about streaming. But how long did it kind of take you to have that good mindset about streaming now?
It took me a while. I think in the process of my streaming career over the last year and a bit, I've grown up a lot as well, just with, you know, the coronavirus stuff and just life happening.
Yeah.
Sort of forced me to grow up, and I've become generally just a more positive person with everything that's going on. Just sort of like maintaining that mindset of, okay, like, yeah, shit sucks right now, but hey, you know, things will work out how they're supposed to. It's
Mm,
gonna be all good. And so yeah, for me, I don't know. It's tough. It's not something that you can just sort of like snap your fingers and like, yeah, you know,
mm,
I'm thinking positive. It takes time, and
exactly.
it definitely takes being like in a. I mean, for some people it doesn't, but for me, it took being in a really tough place to sort of come out the other side being
Mm,
good.
mm. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you came out of the other side. I mean, coronavirus and lockdown, it has been a hard time for everybody. Even if you're not a streamer, you know, people have kind of experienced hardships and setbacks. And you're right, it has kind of forced them to grow up a little bit. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah, of course.
For some of your viewers, your regulars, Imi, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Oh,
I
no worries. Thank you
really,
for
really
having me.
appreciate it. No worries.